Okay, before going and setting up my interfaces on all my VLANs, I just want to show you some services that are working on this MikroTik device. I just need to go to IP menu, and from here I can select services, and you can see some of these services are grayed out because they are not working. I can start them working by just clicking on them and going and clicking on this checkbox. You can see that it starts working, but if I want to disable them, I can just select this and go and click on this red cross. That's it. This is the way you can enable and disable a service. And some of these services are crucial for your work. For example, I am going to connect to this MikroTik device using Winbox. And you can see Winbox is enabled. If this is disabled, I cannot connect to this using Winbox. Of course, I can double click on this service and you can see that some properties pertinent to this service can be changed. For example, if I want to select another port, I can select the port. Or if I want to make this available from specific subnets, I can do this. I don't want to, restrict the connectivity from a specific subnet, or I just want to use the same port. I just click on OK. For Telnet, again, double click on that and you can see the same thing opens for you. For FTP and SSH or other services, you can configure the pertinent properties as you wish. So these are the services necessary to work. If you don't want those, just disable them because they put a burden on your system, and of course they are a security breach. For example, Telnet is very, very unsecure, so I may go and disable Telnet, but SSH is a very nice way to connect to my router, so I want to have this enabled. Okay, some other services are very specific, and so you just want to check them. Go to IP menu, for example, and select neighbors, and this is some sort of Cisco Discovery Protocol device, and this can find the Cisco devices and other devices, other MikroTik devices here. As you can see, Ether2 is connected to 10.10.12.102, and the MAC address that is assigned to this interface on the other side is this. And you can see the identities MikroTik. If it was Cisco, again, I could find it. The platform, the version, the board name, and everything else connected to that. Some of the abilities, for example, IPv6 being enabled or not. This is, very, very simple to find. And you can see the other one does not have any IP address assigned to that because I haven't done this yet. I'm going to do this in a minute. And you can go and select the discovery interface. If you don't want to have discovery enabled on these interfaces, just go select them and disable the discovery. If you want to enable it, again, you can click on this check and that's enabled. This is one of the interesting services that I like as a Cisco guy. This is very nice. Okay, let's go to other services and check them out here. If I open IP, you can see that some of the services are available here, such as Trivial File Transfer Protocol, and it has its own properties to configure. You have Hotspot and Firewall. We are going to talk about this later in detail. Some services such as Domain Name Service or DHCP Service, you may not want to configure this on MikroTik devices because, for example, a Windows server or a Linux server does have a better support for these services. So I'm not going to talk about these too much. I'm just going to show you if you have a very small, for example, network, or if you want to assign IP addresses to your, for example, wireless client, you can configure the DHCP server on this device, and this supports basic connectivity, basic functionality for the service. Okay, in next section I'm going to configure the IP addresses on all my MikroTik devices.